Yes.
To put it on the positive rather than the negative,
Yeah.
if we have all these,
Okay.
from Buddha all the way down to the middling non-disciples,
Yes.
the holy life is thus accomplished.
Correct.
What do you mean by really having these disciples and the spoken hierarchy on monastics?
Yeah.
What do you mean by the holy life is thus accomplished?
Okay, first of all, you look at the word disciple. It doesn't say monks, just monk nun. It says non-disciple, monk disciple, disciple, sāvaka. Sāvaka. Okay? Sāvaka are not ordinary monks. I don't think there are any sāvakas in Singapore. Okay? Sāvakas are the streaminers, one-returnners, non-returners, arahats. In other words, no outsiders. You see, we are still outsiders, we are not streaminers yet. So, these are the insiders, sāvakas, yes?
The meaning of Savakas is saying that it's not the ordinary monk.
What I mean is Savaka are the monks who have attained at least 3 minutes. Lay people also who have attained one of the stages of sainthood also called Savaka, but they are not monks or nuns. Okay, we'll come to that. All these are listed. Okay? The Sutta lists all the disciples. Yeah?
Okay.
Fair enough?
So when you say that we have this entire community in the pecking order of Savakas and Savikas,
Yes.
The holy life is thus accomplished.
Yes.
What do you mean? I still don't understand
That
what
means-
holy life is thus accomplished.
That means you have the different kinds of people, men, women, laymen, lay women, they attain awakening or they're on the way to awakening. The teaching is being fulfilled.
Only they have this entire community. You can't have it solo.
Ideally. Here this sutta is talking about a community,
Yeah.
not a personal approach. Personal approach, yeah, there are teaching which talk about practicing by yourself. There is.
So you can also achieve the holy life
Oh, yes.
practicing by yourself.
Yes, but again, that's what I told you at the start of this study. Remember I told you the background was Nigata Nataputa died, and his order, his community was in shambles.
Right, chaos.
So this sutta is specially taught to prevent the sort of thing from happening to the Buddhist side.
Okay, it's in the
Yeah.
context of the
Correct.
daily community being
Right.
in chaos.
And you need this community to preserve the teaching effectively.
Right.
But one individual, very difficult. But a community, more effective.
Right, okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
When you go to, let's say, a retreat center, you go to a monastery, you find there's so many monks there. First thing you say, wow, so many yellow robes, you know, and all the monks look alike. And the first thing you have to learn is, what are their names? And you got to look for distinguishing features, you know. One monk say more shiny, another one certain no hair, another one maybe moustache, whatever. So you have to start remembering who they are and start remembering their names, you know. And next thing you should start remembering who are the ones you can connect with, who are the ones who is very good in Dharma, you can ask questions, who are the ones who are very humble, helpful, and so on. Okay? So this community is very important. The Sāvaka Sangha. Sāvaka Sangha. Okay? And then the non-disciples. Then you talk about there must also be the middling non-disciples. And the next page, section 12.72. There must also be the new non-disciples. Okay? So now monks and nuns complete. So you got 3 levels of monks and nuns, new, middling, and the senior.
So, since it's the constant use of Sāvaka, it means that if they are not Sāvakas, there will still be chaos.
Yes, in a sense, I would say that. Yes.
Right, because then there will be dissension, right?
Even when there are Sāvakas, there can still be chaos. But there is still a refuge you can go to get the right teachings. And that community is unscathed by all these controversies going on.
What does Sāvaka exactly mean?
Disciple. Sāvaka means listener. One who listens. Listener.
But does not necessarily mean he's any wiser than... Does that necessarily mean that he's...
Yeah.
So they can
Yeah, it's not how much they know, it's that they are liberated from suffering arahants.
It's not, they're not arahants.
They can, yeah, one of them is arahants. All the four kinds of saints. Srimina, one-sutana, non-sutana arahants.
So Savakas are streamliness.
Yeah, Srimina, one-sutana, non-sutana, arahants. Yeah, these are the Savakas. As a group, we call them Savakas. Sometimes they are further divided into two each. It's something like undergraduate, graduate. Then you got 8 kinds. Okay? And when we recite the Sangha reflection, we say Atta Purisa Pokala. Okay? Okay, so now the monks and nuns part done. Right? We are still talking about Savakas, okay? Now the next part are the lay disciples. Next group, celibate layman disciples. So again, the sutta, they love repeating, playing this chorus, and they say, okay, you got the elder teacher, elder monk disciple, and then you got the middling monk disciples, and the whole list of them, and then the nuns, and then now it says, but no white dress celibate layman disciples, 1293, section 1293. Can you see that? White dress, celibate, layman disciples. So these are layman disciples. They live as laymen, but they are celibate. In other words, their third precept is brahmacharya veramana. They keep celibate. They live like monks. So this is, so they are regarded as a little ahead of the normal lay person who is not celibate. So it's good to have them also. So they are the next category, number 7. Okay, this is category 7. And then another category is,
So,
yes,
you say the white dress, so the layman disciple, what is the rules?
their rule basically, they're still layman. So, for example, they can have 5 precepts, but the third precept is celibacy, brahmacharya veramani. Okay, in other words, they have no sex at all, just like the monks.
Session is not allowed.
Sexual conduct is a third precept for ordinary lay people. But for this celibate, it is brahmacharya veramani, sikapada samadhyami. I undertake the training rule to avoid incelibacy. In other words, totally no sex. That's the third rule. They may also maybe follow the 8 precepts. That means what? Take less food and so on. But the important thing, they are celibate. Okay?
So, they also can practice in their home or
Yeah, if they anywhere, even at home. They might even have a family. They might even have a family, but they already taken these rules. Maybe they are quite old, mature people. You know. For example, you might say Nakula Pita, Nakula Mata. They were examples of this. Okay. And then the next one is number 7. Look at 12.105. 112.105. White dress celibate layman disciple. Okay, that one done already. Yeah? And the next one, 12.116. But there were no white dress celibate lay women disciples. Okay, so laymen, lay women. Right? So you also need lay women. So we're talking about an ideal state here. Everyone is there. Then go on to the next person. You have number 9, right?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
householder.
Yeah. Householder, layman, disciples, enjoyer of sense pleasure. Okay, this part is very interesting. Look at 12.141. So you have all these great 141, 12.141. So here you have all, these are all saints, you know. So this one says, but there were no white dress householder, layman disciples, enjoyer of sense pleasures. Look at the Pali word, 124. Upasaka Sāvaka. Notice Upasaka Sāvaka, not just Upasaka but also Sāvaka. Gihi Odatta Vasana. Odatta Vasana means wear white. Odatta means white. Vasana means clothing, white clothes. Kama Bhogi. Kama, sense pleasure. Bhogi, they enjoy it or they partake of it. Right? So here is where, in other words, there are lay people, their families and so on, like King Bimbisara and the King Suddhodana, and Chitta, the householder, and so on. So they are, or they were lay people, but they lead normal lives, their families, businesses, and so on. Okay? But of course, in their case, they are not non-returners, they are not arahats. At best, they are streamliners, once returner. Okay?
Did you mention King Suddhodana?
Suddhodana, yeah. He became an arahat. Huh? Yeah. He died arahat. But anyway, he was a layman also all his life.
You mean the Buddha's father?
Yeah, Buddha's father.
What's the meaning of Upasaka, please?
Upasaka is someone who sits up close to the teacher. Yeah, the meaning, literal meaning is that. And this is the term we use today for any lay follower who takes a tree of
Meaning that this, when I'm wrong, the Buddha disciple, the one who's close is the king, and like when I run.
Yeah, yes.
So I think it's a Buddha secretary.
Well, Ananda, we will call him a Sawaka. Yeah. No, not Upasaka. Upasaka is layman. Upasaka is layman. Yes. So, Ananda would be a Sawaka, but he was only a streamer while the Buddha was alive. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes?
Explain this phrase. Who have attained the security from the yoke?
Okay. 1 for 1, 12 1 for 1. The last phrase.
What's attain the security? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's a bit tricky. You know? Usually, security from the yoke. The yoke here refers to the 4 floods. You know, the defilements, wrong views, and so on. Okay, the things that hold us back in life and bring suffering. Okay. Not hindrances, the views, craving, existence, ignorance. Okay? So these are the 4 things. Once they are gone, you have an arahat. Okay? But here, it doesn't mean that because if they have broken off, remove all these 4 influxes, as they are also called, then it will be arahats. But here they still pleasure, they enjoy essential pleasures within the 5 precepts. So I would say here, the security from the yoke simply means they will not be caught up in samsara like the non-stream winners. You see, to become a stream winner, you will never break the 5 precepts. Becoming a non-returner and arahat, you will never break any of the 10 kinds of bad karma. Okay? So this is one rule of thumb. Right? So here we're talking about these layman disciples who do enjoy pleasure of the 5 senses, but within the context of the 5 precepts. Okay? The 5 precepts. And they will not break the 5 precepts. They will not be caught up with the world. So I would take the security from the yoke to mean that. Okay? And then the next one, understandably, would be the lay women disciples, right? Look at 12, 1, 6, 8. But there were no white-dressed householder lay women disciples, enjoyer of sense pleasures. So the phrase to have obtained the security from the yoke, you can say in terms of defilements. So they have obtained at least stream winning. Okay, at least stream winning in this case. Okay, can follow so far? So this is the disciple number 10, right? White dress householder, layman disciples, enjoyers of sense pleasures. And then you end there. These are the 10 kinds of disciples. Okay? This section ends. And then the Buddha goes on to talk about the community as a whole. Wealth and plenty. Okay? Now once you see this sort of statement, you know this sutta is addressing a very late period in the monastic history, towards the end of the Buddha's life, when the monasteries are big and well patronized, very rich. Remember, even in such an atmosphere, the monks do not handle money. It's all done by the lay people. Okay? The monks wander about, they just stay wherever is convenient to them. So here, the Buddha continues, he says, okay, we have all these 10 kinds of disciples. Then you go on to 12.197. But there were no holy life, merely an extensive success, wealthy, popular, widespread, well proclaimed amongst devas and humans. On account of this factor, the holy life is thus unaccomplished. Right? So you have all these monks, all these disciples, but no holy life. In other words, if someone wants to train, there's no training. Holy life here, you can say, represents at least the 3 trainings. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Okay? People want to train, no training. Then, holy life not complete. Right? For example, nowadays, you want to train, even do study suttas in a systematic way in Singapore, where do you go? Very hard, right? You have to become a monk, worse, you don't know where to go in Singapore. No proper training. You have to look around for really a good place to go, right? That's called the holy life. You need to look for the holy life. Brahmacharya. Okay? So you must have the brahmacharya. So the Buddha says, if you don't have the brahmacharya, all you got success, wealth, popularity, fame, that's all.
I thought these were all savakas.
True, but
I'm quite confused.
no, it's okay. You just keep the 10 people intact. Don't worry about that. You see, because remember the disciples are going to be very calm and peaceful. So they might not be teaching.
Because thus far, Buddha's been laying down the whole, no matter what is required, we have a calm, peaceful, non-chaotic, monastic order, starting from Buddha all the way the layman down, and then now we come to the wealth and plenty, and then
So
they lay out all this, you have the teacher, elder monks, all the way to the lay women, and yet there is no orderly monastic life.
No, the Buddha is talking about today now. Okay. The Buddha said, okay, in my time, we got this, but he's talking about pointing to the present.
His time?
No, our time. Our time. See, in our time, if there's no holy life, you get it?
Say that no holy life. My understanding, if I'm not wrong, to interpret that there are 2 kinds of practice. One is the city monk and one is the monastic. When I say that, let's say the city monk is not holy life. Then monastic is a practice.
The Singlish will be happy to hear that. Because this idea of the Gama Wasi, Aranya Wasi was invented in Sri Lanka in the commentarial period for some various reasons, So you've got the forest monks who apparently don't study any suttas, which is not true, and the city monks who only study suttas but don't meditate, which also is not true. Because I think the point is this: there are no city monks. There should not be any Gamawasi monks, because
as of present now, we are saying it's the
I'm just saying should.
As a city monk.
Yeah, I only say should, because you look at the suttas, the Buddha and the monks never lived in the city. That's why lay people are. It's not convenient, you see. But nowadays, it's difficult. It's difficult, you see. So the monks have to decide. And it's very interesting, For example, when Ajahn Chah, before Ajahn Chah, it was Ajahn Man, I think, who went to London. They had this house, so for the monks to live in. He looked at the house and there was a bar next door, you know. So he said, oh, this is not conducive for monks to live, you know. So nothing was done. The monks did not go to the UK. Nothing happened. But when Ajahn Chah went there, he didn't see any bar. Yeah, there was a bar next door, but he didn't bother about the bar, you know. Actually, what he did was, early in the morning, he got up, put on his robe, and the monks were wondering why. He said, we're going on arms round. And the monks were wondering, he said, this is England, you know. What do they don't know what we are doing, you know. And we are Ajahn Chah said, we are monks, you know, so we go on arms round, that's what we do. So he put on his robe, took out his bowl, when he went out. Of course, nobody knew what was going on, you know. Imagine a bunch of skinheads wearing a blanket walking down the street, barefoot, mind you. So nobody knows who they are, but they began asking, who are these people? And they are told, it's the monks. So what Ajahn Chah effectively did was to advertise their presence. Although they did not get alms food, they advertised their presence. People noticed, wow, look at these monks, they're so peaceful. They don't laugh out loud like Qigong, you know, and they don't behave funny like some crazy wisdom monks, you know,
Didn't people mistake them with an alms bowl to be beggars?
Some of them thought it that way, but they began to ask, you see. But the more they asked, the more people understood. Oh, they don't beg. Actually, they only go to places where people are ready to offer. Okay? And the most interesting thing was another story by Ajahn Sumedho, you see. So he was, you know, quietly walking down the road one day, and this young man comes along, sees him, and then talks to him. And Ajahn Sumedho is a very wonderful person to talk with, you know. So he said, what are you, you know? I remember when I was in Holland, this young boy came up to me, looked at me from head to toe, what are you, he asked me. So I said, Munich. Munich is a Dutch for monk. So Ajahn Sumedho explained what a monk is and so on, and this young man was very impressed. He said, you know, I have this piece of land in Chithurst. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just wondering what to do. I think now I know what to do. I'm going to give this piece of land to you. You can set up your monastery then. So there you are, you see. He's impressed by the calmness of the monk. Not God, it's all this loud talking, laughter and crazy wisdom, but his calmness. Okay? And that's how Chithurst Monastery started. And they, in a sense, they bend the rules, but without breaking it. Very important. I mean, the previous monk said, oh no, we can't have monks here, there's a bar next door, all this thing. But Ajahn Chah, he didn't say all that, rather he said what we can do as monks, wherever we are. Because if you are a monk, you are calm and pure, wherever you are, this won't affect you, it should not affect you.
It's also part of promo of Buddhism.
Exactly. So you don't need Mahayana for all this. You're compassionate, you're calm, you keep to the rules.
Right, and discipline.
Exactly. You are strong. So you don't change the Dharma, you change yourself. Right? This is the teaching of the Father.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to come back to this. You were saying, coming back to having no holy life, and you're saying that this is addressed to present day, but aren't these the words of Buddha?
Yes.
If these are words attributed to Buddha, they cannot be present time. Present
The
time
Buddha, the Buddha is talking about now. So he said, if you have a community but you don't have this, then your community is not complete. He's not talking about himself anymore in this case. Yeah, so in other words, he's using himself as the example. He's saying, if you have a community in the future, you must have all these things also to be complete, ideally, you see. Okay?
Okay.
Meaning it really can see the things far away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, the purpose of this sutta, to preserve the Buddha's teaching for the future.
Yeah.
Right? The idea is to preserve the Buddha's teaching, or to preserve the environment so that the Buddha's teaching can continue to this day. Right?
Thanks.
Now the problem is this, we don't know who are the saints today. But fortunately, because of the Buddha's teaching, we still have the suttas with us. But because there are no saints whom we can identify, people are messing up the sutta. They start talking about so many other things, then a new paradise, arhats still need to become Buddhas, things like that. That's why we need to make sure the suttas are well preserved, well taught, well practiced. Okay? Now, so I'm going to finish a bit more, but it looks like we still have some more passages to go, which are very important. I don't want to rush. So we'll finish systematically at the part where a bit more, not just a bit more. So the Buddha said, okay, you have all these 10 kinds of disciples, you must also have the holy life. In other words, you must be able to provide training when people need it, to put it simply. Then the Buddha says 12.212. So I say, okay, you have this holy life, but there is no attaining of the peak of gain, the peak of fame. Okay, peak of gain and peak of fame. Here, gain can also translate as profit. It refers to the attaining of sainthood. Okay, attaining of at least stream winning. Okay, 12.212. 160. So in other words, overcoming of the influxes, the arahats. So the Buddha says, if this teaching cannot bring about arahats, then also not complete. Of course, you can interpret it a bit more generously. For example, you can say, okay, peak of gain means what? Streamliners, once returner. Peak of fame, non-returners, arahats. They must produce the 4 kinds of saints. That is why you often hear me in the suttas, ever since I came to Singapore, always talking about becoming a streamliner, right? If you're a lay person, at least we should aspire to become streamliners. Because if we don't, then we remain outsiders. And our future rebirth is uncertain. We might not even be human. So, by aspiring, I want to be a stream winner. Don't worry about will I become or will I not. See, that is something you don't worry about. The Buddha said, you just aspire and be a stream winner. Keep it that way. And then your practice is impermanence, reflecting on impermanence. Everything is impermanent around you, within you, outside you. You go on reflecting that way. Somehow your life will be regulated, your life will be such that you will not mess it up. You are not messed up. In other words, and when the last moment comes, you pass away peacefully, you become a stream winner at that moment. So, the peak of gain, the peak of fame. In other words, the sainthood is there. Then, to just conclude this first part, the Buddha repeats everything, like
Sorry, Piya, I really have to stop you there because I get very confused. The phrase extensive success, wealthy, to the widespread wealth, monks, devas, and gurus. What does this phrase mean?
It refers to his timeline. In this case, he's saying now you have the holy life is complete.
So meaning what? That the people or the monastic order is successful,
yes,
wealthy.
Correct. Yeah. So this is towards the end of the Buddha's time, maybe the last 5 years, So it says now you can see the Sangha prospering around you, so it's complete. But you must have the saints, the 4 kinds of saints, especially arahats. So he's using himself as the example, and then he's also like speaking to us down to the ages. He's saying this is what we should follow. Okay, so remember, example in the Buddha's time, and he's voicing to us. So 2 things happening. So then everything is complete. He repeats everything like closing, what do you call that? Chorus or refrain. Look at section 14. Now finally, the editors put in a new number, 14. Now, Chunda, I am the teacher today, having arisen in the world as the Arahat, the fully self-awakened one. And the Dharma is well taught, well proclaimed, leading to liberation, conducive to peace, proclaimed by the one who is awakened. And my disciples have been shown the meaning or purpose of the true Dharma, and so on. And then he lists elder monk disciples, middling monk disciples, new monk disciples, elder monk disciples. I'm only reading the highlighted words now. And then middling non-disciples, new non-disciples, white dress celibate laymen disciples, white dress celibate laywomen disciples, white dress householder laymen disciples enjoy of sense pleasures, white dress householder laywomen disciples enjoy of sense pleasures. How many altogether? 10. 10. The 11th one is the holy life. Then I've numbered them in the previous section. Okay, section 16. Section 16, the Buddha says, Chunda, as regards teachers that have arisen in the world today, Chunda, I do not see a single teacher who has attained to the peak of gain, the peak of fame as I have. In other words, the saints are not there in other groups, in other gatherings.
The saints are required to complete the holy life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the 4 kinds of saints.
The 4 kinds of saints?
Yes.
What are the 4 kinds of saints?
The stream winners, ones returnal, non-returnal, arahants.
Okay.
Sometimes I use the word saints, sometimes I use the word aryas.
Okay. All right.
16.2. Also, Chunda, as regards to any sangha or group that has arisen in the world, I do not see a single sangha that has attained to the peak of gain, the peak of fame, Chunda, compared to this Bhikkhu Sangha, the community of monks. And the holy life also is complete. Okay, so in other words, the holy life is complete. So here, Bhikkhu Sangha is the core. Holy life covers everyone else. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Just remember.
Here you see that the Svarakas are required to complete the holy life, and all the enumerated order all refer to as Svarakas.
Correct.
So?
Yeah, Savaka is an overarching name. It's a common name for Savaka disciples. Then you divide them into 10 kinds of Savakas. Okay? Is it clear enough?
No.
Now what's your question?
No, you see, you said that, the Buddha said that you can have all this, but the holy life is not complete because you don't have the...
The holy life is the training given to others. That means that means it allows others to join.
Right, and you said the Svarakas are required to complete the holy life, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm asking is, but all these, the enumeration of the various disciples, the Pali word used was Svarakas.
Savakas, yeah.
So they are Svarakas, and yet you say that the holy life is not complete because the Svarakas are
the holy life here refers to the 3 trainings. In other words, you have, let's say you have, this much saints, 10 kinds, but you don't open up new blood to allow others who want to train. You stop there. So when all these 10 kinds of saints die, the teaching is gone. So the holy life, the training is available, so you can the Sangha will grow, more saints in the world. The community grows. Remember, the community is not just in one place, Let's say they're not all in Ang Mo Kio, somewhere. They're all over the world, practicing the same thing. So we want the community to grow. So the way people join the community is through the holy life, through Sila, Samadhi, Panya, through the 3 trainings. That's the meaning of holy life. The holy life sometimes is used to refer to all the monks and nuns as a whole also. Okay, so there are 2 meanings at least you can understand that. But here from the passage the holy life refers to the training that is available for anyone who wants to join the order and become awakened, become a disciple in other words. Okay? Sila, moral virtue, Samadhi, mental cultivation or meditation, Panya is wisdom. Okay, so I think it's just nice to stop here, and we have quite a few sections to finish. I don't want to rush it, but it's a very important last section. Any other questions? Yes.
Insofar as laymen and laywomen are concerned, I see that there are 2 categories. One is the celibate one.
Yes.
They are one of the categories. And the other category are the laymen or laywomen disciples, enjoyer of sense pleasures.
Yeah.
And enjoyer of sense pleasures, it means in bracket keeping to the 5 precepts.
That is.
Yeah. So this refers to, the latter category refers to lay people who are teachers but who are not celibate.
Yeah.
And they are inside this.
Yes. And in this case here, there are at least stream winners. At least stream winners.
At least 3 years. Because I'm just thinking of people who teach, they are not celibate.
Yeah.
But are they in this list?
No, they are not. Because they are not stream winners.
They are not.
Here we're not talking about just teachers, we're talking about those attain level of liberation. Yeah. So here basically what the Buddha is saying, we need to take that one extra step to gain inner peace. In a sense, it's something very personal because you don't go around saying, here's my card, Piya Tan, stream winner, Although you'd be surprised, I know someone online who says that I'm a stream winner, There's another person who says I'm an arahat,
So are we saying that ABCD will contribute to teaching the Dharma, this reality, are not fulfilling this job?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, they are practicing their own way as Pāsādikas. But it'd be really good if they aspire towards stream winning in this life. Otherwise, it'd be just like someone who's talking about music but never played music himself, or someone who has never driven a car but teaches driving. So you know what I mean. So the idea is good that if they also aspire. I mean, anyone can teach Dharma now because of the internet and so on.
So they need to do one more step.
Yes, correct. This is what I've discovered after studying for so long. That is why we have so much difficulties today. We talk a lot, but nothing is really happening spiritually. Even socially, we are still a lot of things to be desired. So once you take this step further, we'll be much stronger as a spiritual community. In other words, like recently someone told me, someone canceled a Sutta class, and this group went for a holiday, and they even started gambling during the holiday. I said, that's interesting, So we know that means the teaching is still not strong, the monk in charge is not teaching them enough, right? So we've got to work harder. Alright?
Is it
Pāsādika lay disciple. Lay follower will be better. That's reserved disciple for Savakas. Okay? Alright, so we.
India was attacked by Muslim.
Yeah.
So after that, Buddhism disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Jain were inside.
The Jains were practicing on their own, privately, quietly. So some of them were even laymen teachers. So they were not noticed by others. You won't know.
Practicing Buddhism.
Of course not. They're Jains.
They're practicing their own religion.
So they are teaching their own. My point was that they did not place much premium on wealth. They didn't, collect donations and build golden statues, things like that.
The Jains?
The Jains, yeah. I mean, they're not so, put it simply, they're not as successful as the Buddhist monasteries.
But some of the industrial families in Indians are Jains.
Oh, those are lay people, those are lay people. They're not monks and nuns. I'm talking about the Jain monks and Jain nuns. Yeah. That's the reason why the Jains went into industry and money and publishing, is because many other jobs are not open to them because of their strict lifestyle. Yeah, so they're not butchers, they're not, other kinds of wrong livelihood. Okay, so we have to end here for today. It's just nice the time we went over a little bit though. Just a short reflection. Every time we give some time, especially premium time like today to the suttas, we give the Dharma a bit more chance to live longer, to be accessible to people who really want to practice the Dharma as the Buddha taught it. Because today is really a free market of religion, anyone can say anything, practice anything. And we have to be very strong and firm and wise in our choice of the practice, and not to be carried away, not to be lost in this maelstrom of teachings and ideas. As long as we reflect on the teachings of the Buddha directly, especially on impermanence, and aspire to stream winning, we should be safe. The suttas are always there now, still available to us. So spend some time with the suttas so that we know what we are saying, we know what we are teaching against the currents and floods of the world. Sometimes it's better to be alone and study the Dhamma than follow the wrong crowd that's going in the wrong direction. Reflecting in this way is very good karma. By the power of such good karma, may we attain joy and happiness in this life itself. May we be blessed with good health and wisdom. And by this, all these good deeds we have done, and many more, or faith rituals, or practice of meditation, or generosity and so on, may we attain, may we aspire to spiritual liberation, especially stream winning in this life itself. In this moment of peace, let us send out our loving kindness to everyone here, to all the teachers who are teaching Dharma, that they may grow in their wisdom and attain spiritual liberation in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu,